Have you noticed that panic never asks for permission? It does not care if you have a massive presentation in 3 hours, or if you are finally trying to sleep. It hits exactly when you are most depleted, sleep-deprived, and overwhelmed. Your mind instantly paints the darkest possible picture of the future. And the harder you try to reason with it, the stronger its grip becomes. Feel that heaviness rising in your chest right now. The shallow breath, the creeping cold in your hands. You have felt this. We all have. We have been taught a crippling lie about how human emotions actually work. We naturally believe that an emotion starts purely as a thought. We think a terrifying thought, and then our physical body reacts with cold fear. But the brutal reality is the exact opposite. Your body physically reacts first, and your brain only provides the frantic commentary afterward. The legendary surgeon and scientist Nikolai Amosov stated that a human being is an interconnected system, and if one physical part fails, the entire rhythm collapses. Extreme worry is not an abstract emotion floating in the ether of your mind. It is a biological distress signal from an exhausted physical system that has entirely lost its internal rhythm. Today, we will tear down the illusion of anxiety. I will show you exactly how to bypass the endless loop of overthinking and effectively hack your brain. Not with cheap psychological tricks or hollow affirmations, but by physically altering the literal input data your nervous system relies on. Because your brain does not react to absolute reality. It reacts exclusively to what you allow it to physically feel. Let us examine what happens inside the dark theater of your body when a wave of dread washes over you. Your heart rate violently accelerates. Your breathing becomes sharp, shallow, and trapped high up in your chest. Your shoulders inch upward, desperately trying to protect your neck. Your stomach ties itself into rigid knots, and your jaw locks tight. These are not thoughts. This is mechanics. This is ancient automatic biology. It is a primitive survival system that powers on milliseconds before your conscious mind even realizes what is happening. Every single time your body blindly adopts this rigid posture of danger, your brain receives an undeniable chemical alert screaming that a lethal threat is present. It does not matter if the threat is a wild predator, an unpaid bill, or the terrifying shadow of an unknown tomorrow. The primary paradox of your suffering lives right here. You continually try to soothe the physical alarm strictly using logic, but chronic dread is not birthed in thoughts. It is birthed in the flesh. You cannot command a racing heart to stop with philosophy. You must directly alter the biomechanics. When we talk about hijacking this system, we must start with the breath. Breathing is the only vital internal function that operates completely automatically, yet can instantly be switched to manual control. It is a biological cheat code permanently installed into your anatomy. Notice how you breathe when you are stressed. You take short, fragile, erratic gasps exclusively with your chest. That shallow rhythm is not just a symptom of your fear. It is actively fueling the fear. It signals your primitive brain to shut down digestion, suppress the immune system, and prepare to bleed. But when you consciously force the air deep into your lower belly, when you aggressively slow the pace and enforce a heavy exhale, you execute a profound physiological override. Why does the long exhale matter so much? Because the slow release of air physically stimulates your vagus nerve. This incredibly vital nerve is the master conductor of your parasympathetic nervous system. Your heavy exhale sends a literal electrical current straight into your brain, announcing that the invisible war is over. We are perfectly safe. 3 incredibly slow cycles of breathing, heavily focusing on making the exhale twice as long as the inhale, is enough to forcefully break the panic loop. Breath alone is only the first pillar. We must directly address the hidden physical vaults of your body. Anxiety does entirely not just flash and fade. It secretly accumulates. It settles deep into your muscle tissues, layer by layer, decade after decade. Every single time you aggressively swallow anger, every time you silently push through vicious exhaustion, every time you sit paralyzed at a rigid desk for 10 hours straight, your body faithfully records the tension. Your muscles are absolutely not just biological engines meant for forward movement. They are living storage drives for unexpressed emotion. The trapezius muscles stretching across your neck and the heavy muscles of your upper shoulders are deeply notorious for this. When they are chronically tight, they aggressively lock down your entire rib cage. A tight, unyielding rib cage severely restricts your diaphragm, making deep breaths physically impossible. A locked diaphragm guarantees constant shallow breathing, which guarantees a constant low-level stream of horrific panic. You might be having a perfectly fine morning, drinking warm coffee in a beautiful room, but your tight shoulders are secretly broadcasting a high-alert emergency directly into your brainstem. If you truly want to calm the raging neurological storm, you have to actively unfreeze the body. Gentle daily stretching, slowly rolling your shoulders back, deeply twisting your stiff spine. These are not aesthetic fitness routines. They are desperate acts of cellular liberation. After just 40 seconds of a deep, focused chest stretch, your brain actually receives a totally different set of biological signals. The system realizes it is no longer curled into a defensive ball. You literally stretch the fear right out of your fibers. Let us push deeper, straight into the steady rhythm of your blood. Your physical heart is the supreme internal metronome of your daily existence. Most modern people foolishly think that anxiety begins entirely in the head, but the isolated brain constantly monitors the cardiovascular system to gauge what is happening in the outside world. If your heart pumps erratically simply because you live a completely sedentary life, your thoughts will automatically mirror that exact physical chaos. Poor physical blood flow dramatically diminishes sharp cognitive clarity, and poor cognitive clarity always breeds terrible, highly reactive decisions. When you experience a tiny, insignificant stressor, a weak, untrained heart skyrockets its beats per minute. The brain senses this violent spike and completely floods your entire system with huge waves of cortisol and adrenaline. This highly potent chemical cocktail is evolutionarily meant to help you outrun a hunting predator in the freezing snow. In the flat modern world, it simply makes your hands shake uncontrollably. You cannot metabolize this potent chemistry by sitting entirely still on a couch and overthinking your entire childhood. Cortisol is only properly destroyed through active rhythmic movement. Movement is the universal biological signal for true safety. A terrified prey animal absolutely does not casually stroll if a deadly predator is crouching nearby. By forcefully adopting a casual, extremely steady walking rhythm, pacing the room with deep purpose, or softly swinging your arms, you physically lie to your brain in the most beautiful healing way possible. You force the internal chaotic chemistry to aggressively neutralize. Your rapid pulse drops, your tight blood vessels gently dilate. Your highly rational prefrontal cortex completely comes back fully online. This brings us directly to the absolute ultimate armor against human suffering: consistent, unbreakable routine. We often aggressively view daily discipline as a rigid, joyless cage, but the fragile human nervous system naturally views a totally predictable routine as the ultimate sanctuary. Without a solid structure, your exhausted brain is constantly drowning in millions of utterly pointless micro-decisions. It never truly knows when it will comfortably rest, when it will eat a meal, or when it will be violently pushed to the breaking edge. This chronic unpredictability is the exact fertile soil where profound panic takes permanent root. Your physical body utterly despises uncertainty. By strictly waking up at the exact same hour, eating at entirely predictable times, and dedicating a mandatory 10 minutes to daily physical movement, you aggressively remove immense internal friction. You carve deep, secure neural grooves of absolute safety. People often cry out that they need to finally cure their anxiety before they can build a routine. They have it totally backward. You emphatically do not wait until you are perfectly calm to finally build a routine. You must build an ironclad routine to actively manufacture the calm. Here is the ultimate climax of this physical truth. You simply cannot constantly control every single fleeting, terrifying thought that unexpectedly enters your fragile consciousness, but you possess absolute, unquestionable dominance over your direct physical posture, your respiratory rate, and your skeletal movement. Your brilliant body is the heavy handle to the sharp sword of your mind. Firmly grab the physical handle, and the mental blade will instantly follow. Stop constantly fighting the invisible ghosts inside your skull. Take absolute command of the biomechanics. Block the bad data, change the structural input, and the ghosts will slowly evaporate into absolute nothingness. Every problem a person faces is not random. It is life pushing them toward growth, higher awareness, and deeper connection with the source of life. Problems are the trigger for awakening consciousness to a deeper perception of reality. At this higher level of consciousness, wisdom and inner strength naturally emerge, and from that place, a person gains the capacity to resolve even the most persistent issues. If you are ready to take permanent control of your inner physical state and deeply reprogram your life, book a free personal consultation with me right now. You will find the direct link resting in the description and securely in my bio. Please drop a comment below, sharing your own experience with the topic of this video. Subscribe to this channel for more.